You do not feel lost because you are broken. You feel lost because your direction has dissolved. There is a difference. One implies damage, the other implies drift. And drift can be corrected faster than you think if you are willing to confront the real cause. Most people mistake confusion for complexity. They believe their life is tangled because circumstances are overwhelming. In truth, confusion often begins with one simple failure: the absence of a definite aim. Have you noticed how clear you feel when you are chasing something specific? Even hardship feels purposeful when the direction is defined. But remove the target, and every obstacle feels heavier. Feeling lost is not a sign that you lack ability. It is a signal that your mind has too many competing instructions. One part of you wants growth, another wants safety, another wants approval. Competing desires create internal noise. That noise exhausts you. It makes simple decisions feel overwhelming. It turns small setbacks into identity crises. You begin questioning your worth when the real problem is scattered focus. The world contributes to this confusion. Endless options, endless comparison, endless opinions about what you should be doing. When you listen to all of them, you stop hearing yourself. You feel lost because you have allowed external voices to drown out your internal directive. And without a clear internal directive, the mind drifts. Drift produces anxiety. Anxiety produces hesitation. Hesitation produces stagnation. And stagnation convinces you that something is wrong with you. But here is the truth most never discover. You can interrupt this cycle quickly, not in months, not in years, in minutes, if you know where to aim your attention. Clarity does not require a new personality. It requires a new decision. The moment you define a single specific objective, mental fog begins to lift. Have you ever written down exactly what you want, clearly, precisely, without apology? Most people never do. They keep goals vague, and vague goals create vague effort. When the aim is undefined, the brain cannot organize itself around it. It jumps from possibility to possibility, chasing stimulation instead of building momentum. To fix yourself, you must first stop blaming circumstance. Lost is not a permanent condition. It is a temporary absence of direction. Imagine giving your mind one clear command, one definite purpose, one measurable step to take today. Notice how quickly urgency replaces confusion. The mind loves precision. It thrives on instruction. When you remove ambiguity, you remove half the emotional burden. You do not need to solve your entire future tonight. You need to define your next move, the next action that aligns with your chosen aim. When you do this, something shifts internally. Confidence does not return because circumstances improved. It returns because you reclaimed control of direction. The reason you feel lost is not mysterious. It is practical. You have not been specific enough with yourself. You have not commanded your own mind. In this lesson, you will learn how to interrupt mental drift in under 30 minutes, how to clarify your aim, how to align your thoughts with it, how to regain momentum immediately. You are not stuck. You are unfocused. And focus can be restored faster than you were led to believe. When a man says he feels lost, he usually assumes something within him is damaged. He searches his past for mistakes, his character for weakness, his circumstances for unfairness. Yet in most cases, nothing is broken. What is missing is direction. A ship without a compass is not defective. It is uncharted. An uncharted motion produces anxiety. Confusion is rarely the result of complexity. It is the result of divided desire. One part of you wants achievement, another wants safety, another seeks approval. These voices compete. The mind, receiving contradictory instructions, produces noise. That noise feels like uncertainty. In truth, it is conflict. You do not feel lost because you lack ability. You feel lost because you have not issued one commanding order to your own mind. Without a definite chief aim, the brain wanders from interest to interest, from plan to plan, mistaking movement for progress. Consider how clear life feels when you pursue something specific. Even hardship becomes tolerable when it serves a known purpose. Remove that purpose, and minor inconveniences feel unbearable. Direction gives meaning to effort. The man who changes ambitions every season does not lack talent. He lacks commitment. His energy disperses before it compounds. He invests in beginnings, but rarely remains long enough to harvest results. 10 years may vanish in this pattern alone. Edwin C. Barnes was not confused about his desire to become associated with Thomas Edison. His aim was singular and exact. That precision eliminated inner debate. His circumstances were humble, yet his direction was firm. He was not lost, though he possessed little. He was directed. The mind demands instruction. When you fail to provide one clear objective, it attempts to satisfy multiple impulses. This produces emotional fatigue. Decisions become difficult because no standard exists by which to measure them. Internal contradiction exhausts more energy than external labor. When you desire growth yet cling to safety, you experience tension. When you seek independence yet crave constant approval, you divide your own power. Others can sense this division. They may not articulate it, but they perceive hesitation in your tone and uncertainty in your conduct. A person without clear direction appears unsettled even in simple matters. Conversely, when a man defines one clear aim, even before he achieves it, something changes. His speech becomes more deliberate. His posture steadies. His decisions quicken. Clarity projects confidence long before success arrives. You can interrupt drift immediately. Take pen and paper. Write one objective that matters above all others. Not a vague desire for improvement, not a general wish for happiness, a specific aim stated in precise language. When the aim is written clearly, mental fog begins to lift. The brain now possesses a central instruction. It organizes thought around that command. Anxiety diminishes because ambiguity diminishes. You need not solve your entire future tonight. You need only define the next destination. Precision reduces emotional burden more effectively than prolonged contemplation. The majority never perform this simple act. They speak of ambition abstractly, yet avoid defining it exactly. Vague goals create vague effort. Vague effort produces inconsistent results. Inconsistent results reinforce confusion. 10 years may be saved by choosing early. 20 by refusing to revise constantly. 30 by sustaining one purpose long enough to produce mastery. Notice how relief accompanies decision. Even if the road ahead appears demanding, it feels navigable. The mind prefers direction with difficulty over comfort with uncertainty. Affirm now, I choose one definite purpose. My mind obeys my command. I release divided desire. Repeat this aloud morning and night. Repetition instructs the subconscious mind. The instruction, repeated with conviction, becomes expectation. Expectation shapes action. Drift convinces you that you are incapable. Direction reveals that you were simply undecided. The difference is profound. A man with a clear aim does not waste energy questioning his identity daily. His identity becomes tied to his purpose. Temporary defeat becomes adjustment, not collapse. You may have felt lost for months or even years, yet the correction may occur within minutes, not because circumstances changed, but because command returned. Look honestly at your recent past. How often have you changed your objective? How often have you pursued stimulation rather than sustained direction? Each change delayed momentum. Momentum requires consistency. Consistency requires clarity. Clarity requires decision. Others will respond differently once your direction is fixed. They will treat you as serious. They will listen more attentively. Opportunity often gravitates toward the person who appears certain. The world respects direction even before it rewards it. If you desire to save 10 years of wandering, choose tonight. If you wish to save 20, commit firmly and review daily. If you intend to save 30, refuse to entertain competing ambitions without deliberate evaluation. You are not broken, you are divided. End division, and you end confusion. The first step in regaining clarity is not self-analysis, it is self-command. Write your aim. Speak it. Attach emotion to it. Act upon it immediately in one small but definite way. The fog will lift because the mind now has a destination. And once a destination exists, even a long journey feels purposeful. You do not need a new personality. You need a clear directive. Issue it now. For the moment you define your aim without apology, you cease being lost and begin being directed. After you understand that feeling lost is the absence of a definite aim, you must confront another truth equally unsettling. Many who feel lost have surrendered the right to decide their own direction. They have handed authority to outside voices without realizing it. Every opinion you accept without examination becomes a quiet command. When enough commands accumulate, your own directive is drowned. You begin to chase approval rather than purpose. This produces confusion disguised as openness. Comparison is one of the most destructive influences when direction is undefined. When you compare your progress to another man whose aim differs from yours, dissatisfaction grows. You attempt to borrow ambition rather than define your own. Borrowed ambition feels exciting for a moment, but it does not endure. Because it did not originate within you, it lacks conviction. The result is another abandoned path and deeper confusion. Endless options intensify this condition. When you attempt to consider every possible future simultaneously, the mind freezes. It hesitates not from inability, but from overload. Without a central aim, every alternative feels equally urgent. The erosion of self-trust begins quietly. Each time you consult others before consulting yourself, you weaken inner authority. Each time you delay action to gather more approval, you strengthen doubt. Consider Henry Ford. When critics declared his ideas impractical, he did not surrender direction to public opinion. He listened selectively, but returned always to his own definite purpose. That steadiness produced achievement. Contrast the reactive individual with the directive one. The reactive adjusts daily to the loudest voice. The directive listens, evaluates, and then returns to his own command. One drifts with influence. The other stands within it. When you allow comparison and opinion to dictate your movement, you feel lost because your path shifts constantly. You chase what appears admirable in others rather than what is authentic to you. 10 years may be lost to chasing trends, 20 to seeking universal approval, 30 to measuring progress by borrowed standards. Reclaim authority deliberately. Limit exposure to voices that cloud your clarity. Reduce comparison until your own aim feels strong enough to withstand it. Ask yourself, if no one else existed to observe me, what would I pursue? The answer reveals more truth than 100 opinions. Selective listening is discipline. You need not reject all counsel, but you must filter it through your chosen purpose. If advice contradicts your aim, weigh it carefully before accepting it. The subconscious mind obeys repeated influence. If you repeat criticism internally, you magnify it. If you repeat your own directive, you strengthen it. Affirm daily, my direction is chosen by me. I listen carefully, but I decide firmly. My purpose is not borrowed. Repeat this until it feels natural. The mind must relearn obedience to its rightful master. Notice the relief that follows reclaimed authority. Decisions feel lighter because they align with one central aim. Comparison loses its sting because you no longer measure yourself against paths you did not choose. Others will detect the change. Your tone will reflect certainty rather than apology. Your actions will appear deliberate rather than reactive. Confidence becomes visible even before results manifest. When you reclaim authority, you shorten the road dramatically. Instead of wandering through borrowed ambitions, you walk steadily toward your own. 10 years saved by silencing comparison, 20 by refusing to revise your aim to please others, 30 by sustaining inner command through seasons of criticism. The world will continue offering opinion. It will suggest alternatives. It will praise one path and question another. Yet none of these voices can override your directive unless you permit it. Feeling lost is often the consequence of too many captains steering one ship. Choose one captain, yourself. Return to your written aim. Review it without outside commentary. Ask whether it still reflects your desire. If it does, defend it through action. You cannot eliminate all influence, but you can regulate its repetition. Repetition forms belief. Belief shapes direction. Reclaim your mental sovereignty. Decide whose voice governs your future. For the moment you cease chasing borrowed ambition, confusion weakens. And when confusion weakens, direction strengthens. You are not without guidance. You are simply overdue in reclaiming it. Do so now, because once authority returns to its rightful place, the path before you becomes clearer with each step. Once you recognize that you are not broken but divided, and that you have surrendered authority to outside voices, the correction must be practical. Clarity does not descend like a sudden revelation. It is constructed through decision. Waiting for perfect certainty prolongs drift. The mind requires instruction. Without it, it circles endlessly among possibilities. Therefore, the first act of reorientation is written definiteness. Take a sheet of paper and write in exact terms what you now choose to pursue. Do not write what sounds impressive. Do not write what others expect. Write what you will commit to. Precision is essential. I want success is meaningless. I will build this specific enterprise, or I will master this definite skill, commands attention. The act of writing transforms desire into declaration. The brain treats written instruction as more serious than passing thought. When you write clearly, your mind begins to organize around the statement. The next act is equally important. Define one measurable step to take today. Not tomorrow, not after further reflection. Today, a phone call, a plan drafted, a skill practiced. Movement interrupts confusion. Anxiety thrives in inactivity. Reflection without action multiplies doubt. Action, even small action, restores authority. When you act, you demonstrate to your subconscious mind that the decision is real. Consider the man who has spent months uncertain about his vocation. In 30 minutes, he writes his chosen aim and enrolls in training that same day. The internal shift is immediate. The future may still hold difficulty, but direction now exists. Emotion strengthens commitment. Read your written aim aloud. Attach feeling to it. Visualize its completion. The subconscious responds to emotion more than logic. When Edwin C. Barnes declared his intention to become associated with Edison, he did not merely think it casually, he infused it with belief. That belief sustained him through humble beginnings. The visible shift after decisive movement is remarkable. Others perceive increased energy. Your speech becomes firmer. Your hesitation decreases. Even your posture reflects determination. You need not solve every obstacle in advance. You need only move in alignment with your aim. The mind gains confidence from progress, not from speculation. 10 years may be saved by acting today instead of deliberating endlessly. 20 by refusing to postpone the first step. 30 by repeating this discipline whenever drift appears. Many wait for certainty before acting. In truth, certainty often follows action. Confidence is built through execution, not contemplation. Review your written statement morning and night. Adjust only with serious consideration, not with passing emotion. Stability of aim builds strength. Affirm, I act now upon my chosen purpose. Clarity strengthens me with each step. Movement replaces confusion. Repeat this until action becomes habitual. The habit of immediate execution protects against relapse into uncertainty. The mind loves precision. When you remove ambiguity, You remove half the burden of confusion. Your energy no longer scatters among alternatives. The 30-minute act of writing and moving may appear simple, yet simplicity does not diminish power. Most men never perform it. Drift feels complex because it lacks command. Command simplifies. It gives the mind a single direction in which to travel. Do not underestimate the importance of immediate motion. One step taken firmly can accomplish more for your confidence than months of pondering. The difference between the man who remains lost and the man who regains direction often lies in this single act. He wrote, he decided, and he moved. Once motion begins, momentum grows. Momentum clarifies further steps. Clarity increases with each completed action. Your aim may evolve over time, but it must not evaporate at the first difficulty. Commit long enough to test your resolve. If confusion returns, repeat the process. Write again. Decide again. Move again. Discipline restores direction repeatedly. You are not required to predict your entire future tonight. You are required to command your next action. By doing so, you transform from a passive observer of circumstances into an active participant in your destiny. Clarity is not a gift granted to the patient. It is the reward granted to the decisive. Therefore, act. Write your aim, take your first step, and watch how quickly the fog recedes when movement replaces indecision. Decision ends confusion, but alignment sustains clarity. Many men declare a new direction enthusiastically, yet continue habits that contradict it. When thought, emotion, and conduct fail to harmonize, doubt returns. The mind senses inconsistency and weakens conviction. If you choose a definite aim but spend your hours in pursuits unrelated to it, you create inner tension. That tension feels like renewed uncertainty. In truth, it is contradiction between declaration and behavior. The subconscious mind observes conduct more carefully than speech. If your actions reflect hesitation, your belief diminishes. If your habits reflect discipline, your confidence strengthens. Repetition conditions belief. This is law. Whatever you repeat with feeling becomes familiar. Whatever becomes familiar feels true. Therefore, repeat your aim deliberately and attach emotion to it. Read your written purpose aloud each morning and night. Visualize its realization. Imagine the satisfaction of completion. Emotion gives strength to repetition. Without emotion, words remain weak. Consider how Henry Ford conditioned himself to believe in his enterprise. His engineers objected. Critics mocked. Yet he repeated his intention until it became unshakable. Repetition, sustained over time, formed conviction. Examine your daily habits carefully. Which of them serve your aim? Which compete with it? Eliminate or reduce those that weaken focus. Habit either builds or erodes direction. Alignment requires controlled attention. Guard your hours as you would guard money. Invest them where return advances your aim. Do not squander them on pursuits that offer comfort, but no progress. Others observe when alignment is complete. Your speech matches your action. Your promises match your conduct. Reliability becomes evident. Respect grows naturally around consistency. When thought, emotion, and habit harmonize, energy increases. You no longer argue with yourself. You no longer debate daily whether to proceed. Action becomes natural because identity supports it. 10 years may be saved by eliminating habits that contradict your aim. 20 by sustaining repetition despite temporary discouragement. 30 by maintaining harmony over a lifetime. Guard against relapse into divided loyalty. Old habits may attempt return. Replace them firmly. The mind returns to familiarity unless new repetition becomes stronger. Affirm daily. My thoughts, emotions, and actions serve one purpose. I am aligned. I remain consistent. Repeat this until it becomes instinctive. Consistency is not dramatic, yet it is powerful. Small daily alignment compounds into significant progress. Temporary defeat will occur. Alignment does not prevent difficulty, it prevents collapse. When your aim is fixed and habits support it, obstacles appear as challenges rather than identity threats. Remember that belief grows through evidence. Each completed action in harmony with your purpose strengthens conviction. Momentum builds confidence. Many feel lost again because they fail to align habit with declaration. They speak boldly, but act timidly. They plan diligently, but execute irregularly. Such division recreates fog. Harmony dissolves that fog permanently. When your daily conduct confirms your chosen direction, clarity becomes stable. The mind thrives on unity. It grows stronger when internal conflict diminishes. Alignment reduces emotional fatigue. Ask yourself nightly, did my actions today reflect my purpose? If not, correct tomorrow without self-reproach. You do not need perfection. You need persistence. Alignment strengthened daily becomes character. Character sustained becomes destiny. By aligning thought, emotion, and habit, you protect yourself from returning to drift. You establish structure that holds even when motivation fluctuates. 10 years saved by disciplined repetition, 20 by removing contradiction early, 30 by sustaining unity despite challenge. You began by writing your aim. Now you must live it. Clarity born of decision matures into confidence through alignment. Stay aligned, for when your inner world moves in one direction, your outer results inevitably follow. When you have chosen a definite aim, reclaimed authority over your mind, acted decisively, and aligned your habits with your purpose, something profound occurs. You cease to drift. You begin to direct. The change is not theatrical, it is structural. You no longer wait for clarity, you create it. The difference between a drifter and a director is not talent, it is responsibility. The drifter blames circumstance for confusion. The director accepts that direction must be issued from within. Responsibility restores power. Once you accept full responsibility for your aim, excuses weaken. You no longer explain delay through environment or opinion. You examine yourself first. That habit alone distinguishes the purposeful from the perplexed. Temporary defeat no longer feels like personal failure. When direction is fixed, obstacles become adjustments en route rather than signs of collapse. The aim remains steady even when methods require revision. This steadiness produces visible transformation. Your posture reflects certainty. Your speech carries less apology. Your decisions arrive more quickly. Others begin to treat you differently because you carry yourself differently. Clear purpose attracts cooperation. People are drawn to direction. They may not articulate why, but they sense strength in someone who knows where he is going. Opportunity often aligns itself with conviction. Contrast this with the man who remains uncertain. His plans shift frequently. His tone reveals hesitation. Others hesitate in response. Opportunity prefers stability. Guard your aim from erosion. Over time, comfort may attempt to soften it. External praise or criticism may tempt revision. Review your purpose regularly. Adjust only with deliberate thought, not emotional impulse. The compounding power of sustained definiteness cannot be overstated. 10 years of unwavering pursuit produces mastery. 20 establishes influence. 30 builds legacy. Imagine the difference between 30 years of scattered experimentation and 30 years of concentrated direction. The first produces fragments. The second produces monument. When you sustain one commanding vision, your identity fuses with it. You are no longer someone searching for meaning. You are someone building it. Others who feel lost will notice your steadiness. They may ask how you found clarity. You will know the truth. You did not find it. You declared it. Becoming an example strengthens your own resolve. When others observe your consistency, you are reminded to maintain it. Leadership grows from direction. Do not expect perfection. Expect progress. Expect correction. Expect growth. But never surrender your authority to choose. If confusion attempts to return, repeat the process. Write again, decide again, act again. Alignment restores clarity repeatedly. 10 years may be saved by ending drift now. 20 by maintaining purpose through difficulty. 30 by refusing to exchange direction for comfort. Affirm finally, I am directed. I choose my aim and act upon it daily. Temporary defeat does not define me. My life moves according to my decision. Repeat this with conviction. Identity strengthens through repetition. Belief grows through consistent action. You do not need to repair yourself. You need to command yourself. Direction restores confidence. Confidence restores momentum. Momentum sustained becomes destiny. The feeling of being lost dissolves not because the road becomes smooth, but because the destination becomes clear. You are no longer wandering. You are building. And when a man builds with purpose, he does not ask whether he is lost. He asks only how far he has progressed. Choose direction. Sustain it. Protect it. In doing so, you save years that might otherwise disappear in hesitation, and you discover that clarity was never beyond you. It was waiting for your command. Yet here is a truth few confront. Insight does not equal transformation. Many men will listen to these principles, feel a spark of clarity, and then return tomorrow to familiar habits. Inspiration fades when not reinforced by repetition. The danger is not that you will fail dramatically. The danger is that you will drift gradually. Drift feels harmless. It begins with postponement. I will define my aim tomorrow. I will act next week. In that small delay, confusion regains ground. Direction must be renewed daily. A written aim is not a decoration. It is a compass. A compass left unused gathers dust. A compass consulted daily keeps a ship aligned even through storm. The moment you stop reviewing your aim, the world begins offering alternatives. Comparison returns. Doubt whispers. Comfort invites delay. Without vigilance, drift reappears quietly. The difference between the drifter and the director becomes visible over time. The drifter speaks often of possibility, yet rarely of commitment. The director speaks less, but acts more. One revises his identity frequently. The other reinforces it. 10 years may separate these two lives dramatically. The drifter accumulates experiences without cohesion. The director accumulates progress aligned with one purpose. 20 years deepen the divide. One becomes known for consistency, the other for potential unrealized. 30 years reveal legacy versus regret. Consider the power of a single unwavering decision sustained across decades. That decision shapes habit. Habit shapes character. Character shapes destiny. You need not predict every detail of your future. You need only guard your direction. The road may curve. Obstacles may appear. Methods may change. But the aim must remain steady. Temporary defeat is not evidence of being lost again. It is correction along the path. Only when you abandon direction entirely do you return to confusion. When clarity is sustained, confidence grows independent of circumstance. You do not panic at every setback because your identity rests upon purpose rather than result. Others will notice this steadiness. They will ask how you remain composed. The answer is simple. You decided, and you did not retreat from that decision. The world respects those who persist, not because persistence is glamorous, but because it is rare. Most alter direction at the first sign of difficulty. Guard your mornings carefully. Begin each day reviewing your aim. Attach emotion to it. Take one action that reinforces it. This habit alone can save years. The daily choice is simple yet powerful. Direction or distraction. Each morning you choose one or the other. Small choices compound into large outcomes. If you choose distraction repeatedly, drift resumes. If you choose direction repeatedly, progress accelerates. Do not measure your life by momentary feeling. Measure it by sustained alignment. Feelings fluctuate. Purpose, once chosen, can remain constant. The inheritance you leave to others is shaped by your example. When those around you witness steadiness, they learn that clarity is not accident but discipline. You may become the proof that confusion can be corrected, that drift can be reversed, that purpose can be declared and defended. Remember the man who once felt lost and did nothing. Years passed, regret accumulated. Now remember the man who wrote one aim and acted upon it immediately. Years passed, achievement accumulated. The difference between those two lives began with one act of command. Do not underestimate the compounding effect of constancy. 10 years of daily alignment produce extraordinary difference. 20 establish mastery. 30 create legacy. If confusion attempts return, do not despair. Repeat the process. Write again, decide again, act again. Clarity is renewable. Affirm each day, I am not drifting, I am directing. My purpose guides my action. I renew my decision daily. Let this affirmation become habit. Let habit become identity. You once felt lost because you had not commanded yourself. Now you understand that direction is choice, not accident. The world may continue offering distraction. Comparison may tempt you. Comfort may whisper. Yet you possess the knowledge that confusion dissolves under command. Guard that knowledge. Apply it daily. Strengthen it through repetition. The day you wrote your aim and acted upon it was the day you stopped wandering. From that day forward, every step, whether smooth or difficult, belongs to a path you chose. 10 years saved by decision, 20 saved by constancy, 30 saved by unwavering purpose. You are not waiting for clarity, you are creating it. Continue. For the man who directs his own life does not ask whether he is lost. He asks only whether he is advancing. And advancement, however gradual, is proof that drift has ended.